Today's video is about why bad boys finish first. Yeah, sad to say, they do. I'm going to give you 5 ways to get to bad boy heaven and never be pushed around again. Let's go. So let's start out by pointing out the obvious. All of us know somebody, a girl or a guy, that is absolutely lovely, kind, caring person, and all they seem to do is get smashed around from pillar to post, as in from one relationship to the next. She seems to do the right thing and he just cheats on her. He seems to do the right thing, she cheats on him, treats him like garbage. Whatever it is, there's always that X factor, and I think there always has to be a sense of being a bad boy. You see, women like bad boys, in my experience, and the experience of most of the bad boys I know, because that's who I hang out with. Genuinely bad boys. And when I mean bad boys, I don't mean that they go around killing people or robbing or murdering. No. What I mean is in a sense of they know what they want. They're alpha male predominantly, and they really don't take any shit. That's it. From anybody, including, and most importantly, is their partners. Now, I believe, it's my belief, that every woman wants to be around a leader, a man that will advise her, a man that will care for her, a man that will protect her physically, emotionally, a man that will provide her with some level of security. That's what I believe. And that's been my experience. And the people that you provide that to are generally more responsive and fall in line with your needs, wants, and desires. Now remember, you might be thinking, well, I'm not a physical person, I'm not a world championship martial artist, I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm not a super tough guy or MMA fighter, whatever you are. Believe me, being strong as opposed to being weak doesn't have really that much to do with your physicality. Physicality, actually, some of the weakest people I know are physically big. I mean, they're physically strong. But emotionally, they're incredibly weak, breaking down, crying. Their wife leaves them. I'm like, what are you crying for? you got thousands, if not millions of dollars. Why are you getting upset? You know, particularly if you live in the Philippines, it's like a dream world. You know, you can live on 1/100th of what you would be living on in America to live in a lifestyle like we live in. It's crazy. So being emotionally strong is what I believe really keeps you being strong and attracting the right kind of woman in your life. For example, if you have a strong woman and you are the house husband, which I never quite understand, and some of you out there might be house husbands, it's just not me. I don't think I would ever be fulfilled in bringing up a child. It's just not my thing. God bore me with that, Junior, and that is meant to lead the household, protect my family. So, and that's not to say some house husbands don't do that. I'm just saying the whole psyche of it all, it'd be like playing with a teddy bear and then saying, well, now you've got to go fight in the ring. That's not going to happen. As opposed to, well, I already, train, work out, do some form of martial arts. I'm already in shape. Or I already do hardcore business. I negotiate at a hardcore level. I'm dealing with people with tens of thousands, hundreds of millions of dollars, and there's sharks out there. I'm in business on my own. As an entrepreneur, you're very much on your own. Make no mistake about it. That's why you have mentoring groups and people that you connect with, and they're not normally in your town. They're not normally next door to you, right? So you connect with them, and luckily we have communication now available to us that you can actually seem like you're living or with the person in the next room, even though they could be halfway across the universe. So the bottom line is, remember this, being weak is not attractive to a woman at all in any way, shape or form. I'm not just talking about physical, and I want to get away from that. Not all of us, as I said previously, can be Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone or, Paddy Pimblett at this point. He did great at the weekend. But what you have to remember, you have to be strong. And I'll give you some more examples of that as we go through the list. 5 ways to get into bad boy heaven. Number 2. This is an easy one. It's a simple thing to learn. Ready? Get your pens and paper out. It's called no. Yep, that's right. The ability to say no. No, we're not doing that. Or no, you're not doing that, actually. That's not how it's going to roll here. No. It's not happening. Not happening on my watch. I'm here for your safety. You're my responsibility. And that is not happening. Or no, you're not going to do that. And if there's any question about it, I have a great follow-up to that. So perhaps you don't understand. Which is part of no is messing you up? Is it the N or is it the O? Either way, it's no. No, 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 no. What's this? No, what's that? Anyway, no is a powerful word. Sometimes more powerful than yes. Especially if you're doing business. Even more especially is when you're dealing with your partner or you're in a relationships. There are some decisions that you make that could be dangerous. And you might want to take a second opinion. That's why you ask a partner. If the partner says no, they're doing it for a reason. Let's hope it's the right reasons. Not for a selfish, jealous point of view, but from the fact that they're really thinking about your productivity, your future, your safety. So the word no is probably the most powerful thing you can do. And like, for example, if you are that person that just says yes to everything, it's going to really bite you in the ass at some point because they will keep extending their barriers. Remember, sometimes tough love is the best love you can give, like dealing with children and disciplining children. You have to say no. No, you're not doing that, son. No, you're not doing that, honey. This is what's going to happen. You're going to do this, this, and this. Yeah, but no, there is no but. Go back to the saying, which part is messing you up? The N or the O, and it's still no. Got it? Yes, sir? Yes, sir. So get it, use it, be firm, and be fair. Remember, ultimately, you care and love this person, and you want the best for them, and most importantly, the best for you. Because if you're stressing or worrying about where they are, what they're doing, and who they're with, then what's the point of being with them? That's a time for another video. Jealousy video, already did it. Go watch it. Number 3, here's how you also appear weak, is having your partner do things that you're unhappy about or you wish they didn't do. This comes down to clear coding again. You need to explain why it is they want to do something. For most part, if your partner wants to continuously go out with her friends, and you want to continue to go out with your friends, there's probably something wrong. What are you exactly escaping? Most people have a normal job, right? I don't. I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm traveling a little bit. I have distribution all over the country. So you're doing things, you're involved with things that are nationwide, dealing with different people, different countries, different nationalities. So sometimes I have to go somewhere, do something, and there's never ever a question. In fact, my wife packs my bag every week when I leave. I don't know if she likes me leaving, I'm not sure, but she keeps asking me, when are you traveling again, honey? But but what you have to remember is there are times when your partner wants to do things that you don't agree with. Here's an example. In the Philippines, it's quite common for your partner to ask for their relatives to come over and stay. That's actually quite common. Now, I know grown men, successful men, that actually don't want their families to come over and stay. You don't mind you coming over, but then you have to leave. Sometimes in the Philippines, though, it's difficult to get, or they live far away, so they come over and they'll stay for a couple of days. As long as they stay for a couple of days. More often than not, of course, in the Philippines, it's never a couple of days, is it? A couple of days turns into a week, turns into a month. Before you know it, your house is literally not your house anymore. I've got people in that situation right here, right now. And probably in the Philippines, one of the things that damages most relationships. And of course, in the family, there's always going to be people that don't like you. And there's always going to be people that want your money. It's as simple as that. It really is just that simple. You're like a walking ATM to them for most part. If you let that happen. And if that's what you think you need to do to keep your woman, you are with the wrong woman. It's as simple as that. I'll say that again because it's quite profound. If you believe that you need to keep spending money on your wife or your girlfriend to keep them, that's a problem. You're with the wrong woman because they will quickly learn how to manipulate you and how to take more and more and more money out of you. Here's an example. Had a friend of mine move into a house. It cost about $20,000 to move into the house and fully furnish it. He was working a job, a salary job, quite a well-paid salary job in the Philippines, over $100,000, $200,000 a year, whatever it was. But he just got caught a bit short. So he says to his wife at the time, they got a couple of children, he says, listen, honey, we need to take it easy over the next 2 weeks because I don't get paid for another 2 weeks. I've just forked out nearly 1 million pesos. I don't want to delve into my savings or pull some money from abroad. You know, you need to be careful and just spend a little bit more sensibly. And she says, looks at him all confused and says, but why don't you just go to the ATM machine and draw some more money out? Yeah, that's how it works in the world, right? You just go to the ATM and it gives you money. They don't think about how the money got into the ATM in the first place. Not even relevant. But that's sort of some of the things that you have to deal with in being weak and not understanding that you are in control. You are the boss. You are going to call the shots. I've always done it in my Western world lives. I called the shots. I said what we were going to do, where we were going to go on holiday. I'd asked for their preference, but overall I made a final decision. After all, I was paying for that final decision, right? And I want to make sure it's safe, and I want to make sure I enjoy myself. I'm the guy that's working every day. You're not, potentially. Although, right now, my wife does work every day. She's as hard working as me, hence why she's my wife. Number 4. This is a key one. Letting your partner control all of your finances. I've experienced this myself, made a similar mistake. It's great that I can talk from experience, right? It's not that I'm big or clever or smart. I've just made so many mistakes that hopefully people listening to this cast can actually learn from and not make the same mistakes. Do not let your partner take full control of your money. You probably didn't do it in the Western world, and you should definitely not do it here. So there's some things that she takes care of, i.e. the shopping, i.e. transportation, that she needs to get back and forth somewhere, i.e. paying the bills, the electric, the rent, all that kind of funny stuff. It's okay. She needs some money to do that, and I don't need to be bothered with it. Just here's your allowance. Go take care of that. Should cover all the expenses and a couple of pennies in there for you. Never, ever let your partner take control of your finances. I must be on it while I'm on this subject, particularly for the people in the Philippines. Some of them are going to watch it. But when you buy a house for somebody or you buy land and say to yourself, yeah, I own that land or I own that house, you realize you do not. A complicated SPA, which is still breakable, and even if you have power of attorney, there's ways that they can get money out of that house without you even knowing, because on paper, they own the house. So they own it. If they want to take a lien against it, they can. Horror story, guy builds a house, builds 2 houses, prestigious area, goes away, comes back, and the guy's in his house, and he said, oh, we bought the house. What do you mean you bought the house? Yeah, we got it from your wife. She sold it for about 3 million, and it was worth about 15 million. It was a gambling debt. And that's the other thing you don't know. What you don't know is that you have to monitor your wife's behavior, certainly in the Philippines, to find out what are they doing. Where is their money going? That's why you need to be in control of your finances. And it's the same in the Western world. You think people are not gambling their money away. You think people aren't spending their money on video games and buying credits or buying Alibaba or whatever, Amazon or whatever else you've got in the UK. We have Lazada here and Shopify. Not Shopify, Shopee. And we have Shopify. So what you got to think of is who is really in control here. And there's something else. When you control the money, you control the power. Money is power. Always will be, and always has been since the start of time, pretty much. If you control the money, you control the power. You can control the household, because ultimately they will have to be compliant. You know, I've had hundreds of employees, and they are compliant. For most part, I'd like to think, because they enjoyed the cause and they're loyal to the company. But the reality is, if I stop paying them, they're going to leave, aren't they? Well, guess what? You're in a relationship. There's a certain amount of financial commitment you have to have. And it takes a strong woman to stand by you. I'm not saying they're not out there. They are. But the more first world you go, living in Las Vegas was a real eye-opener. The most popular question I got asked when I was out, not that I went out a lot at all on my own without my wife, the second one, was that, what car do you drive? I mean, what is the most ridiculous relevance does that have other than what's my financials? Why don't you just ask me how much money I got in the bank or something like that? That's how it gets. So don't make out, or please don't think that the principles I teach you from Asia, living in Asia after 16 years, but also made a lot of money in the first world, most of my money in the first world, to be fair, and was in that environment continuously. I was in the entertainment business when I was 18 in England. So I've done the tour, I've done the system, I've been around. Is that right to say? But it's true. And it's always true. Money is always king. You see it. You see the people with the nicest cars, the nicest houses. Guess what? Pretty much with the nicest girls. And if they're not compliant and the relationship isn't working, boom, boom, baby, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Next. And listen, having money isn't the be-all and end-all. And I'm not sure whoever said that must not have had a lot of money. And some people, the very rich people that say that money isn't everything, because to you, it's nothing. Because you have it all. You have everything in your life. For 95% of the population, money is everything. Money is how they live. It's how they eat. It's how they enjoy themselves. It's what holiday they go on. It's what car they drive. It's what house they live in. It's their lifestyle completely. It's their happiness because they might be doing a job they hate. Be aware that money really is power. Do not ever give complete power to your partner. It's a sign of weakness. And immediately you do that, by the way, there is a shift. There is a shift in power. Suddenly, she has control of the power. I do watch some documentaries on those women that killed their husbands and took control of their businesses and the scammers and that kind of stuff. It never ceases to amaze me. These people get themselves in situations, successful people, where they negotiate hard in businesses, write extensive contracts for their companies to protect their wealth, ultimately, or to give it away at the swipe of a pen to their wife. Or not even their wife, which is really quite astounding. And the amount of stories that goes on here are hell-raising. We can go into those in the members area. The things that have gone on here are mind-blowing, but mind-blowingly stupid for the people that do that. You wouldn't do it in Australia, in England, in Europe, or in America. You wouldn't do that. So why do you do it here? Oh, wow, but I thought she was special. Yeah, no, you're weak. You're just weak. And what's worse still is if you're only doing it to keep her. That makes you even weaker. She knows it. She knows what you're doing. And when you say, no, you need to go to work. Yeah, but I only make this much a day. Say, well, yeah, but that's not the point. You still respect that much. And then when I give you some money, then you'll respect it even more, won't you? And number 5, the conclusion. So remember, good guys finish last over and over again. And I can't tell you, being a bad guy genuinely makes you physically more attractive to the female of the species. It really does. And sometimes being a bad girl makes you attractive to the male species. The difference is a man is not going to keep a bad girl. You'll have the physicality of the moment and then you'll be ghosted. Or it'll be a boom, boom, baby, bye-bye, a sideshow. And that's okay if that's what you want. There's no problem with that either. Don't forget, women like having sex as much as men. You know why? Well, 9 times out of 10, I would hope that you're having sex with a woman. A woman's having sex with a man. Something to think about? I guess so. Good guys finish last. That's not saying you have to be terrible and be domestically violent and horrible to your partners. It's about being a leader, being in control, and being strong. Physically helps. It's not the be-all and end-all. Emotionally is essential. Financially helps. There you have it. You got it. The 5 ways to go to bad boy heaven and stay there. And if that's too much for you, get a copy of my book, Duology. I wrote it 20 plus years ago. Made my first million then, I think. So go check it out. It's like $7. I'll give you a link at the end of the video. Peace. Love to all. And I'll see you on the very next video.